La 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 Adam's little vlog.
Tally ho everybody, this is a Heap of Games, Adam speaking, and I'm here to do my review of the Robot Wars 2016 Grand Final and the series as a whole. Now I'm going to start with the series as a whole because I want to save the rant till last. So I'll keep it brief. The series as a whole, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good return for Robot Wars. There are a lot of good robots in there. It was just a shame about the Grand Final. So the heats are all brilliant, and I hope we get more. My favourite robots, probably Nuts, TR2, I enjoyed PP3D, Eruption, and, well, the ones like Behemoth. So those are probably my 5 standouts for the series. Right, now let's get into the rant. Because I must be on a different planet to everyone else, because every other person I've seen has been like, oh, it's been brilliant, it's been wonderful. And I am not of the same impression as the rest of you, it seems. Now, there are a few reasons, and I'll just run down them in chronological order. Firstly, the wild card. What were they thinking? Why did they pick Thor? Of all those 5 robots, they picked Thor. There are some people who say Thor was a great choice for wildcard, even after they saw the grand final. And I just think, what planet are these people on? Honestly, did you not watch both its heat and the grand final? In its heat, it was against robots that, quite frankly, weren't that great. And it lost to Shockwave. Shockwave being a box with a styrofoam wedge at the front that just fell to pieces every time something touched it. So, in the heat, it was bang average. It didn't really do anything of note. And then, obviously, in the grand final, just watch the grand final. Did Thor do anything that would have justified it being in that grand final? Behemoth would have been better. Storm 2 would have been better. Dan Tomke would have probably been better. And Gabriel, which I thought had the best shout for it. Consider this. Pulsar got through to the grand final even though it was eliminated in round 1. Surely, if that robot's been eliminated in round 1, you've got to say, okay, we'll take another robot from that heat, one that wasn't eliminated in round 1. So surely, with that logic, I think that's good logic, Gabriel should have been in. Not only is it a better robot, I think, than Thor. Sorry, Thor fanboys and girls, if you're out there. But I think it would have been more entertaining, and it wouldn't have got just tossed around like dead weight. So that was the first part. I don't know why they chose Thor. I thought it was a poor choice, and it really... It showed that it was a poor choice over the course of the grand final. So that was the first part that I didn't like. Second part, Pulsar. Now, if you watch my episode 5 review, I said that Pulsar was critically lucky in every single round. Obviously, he got knocked out in the first round and blah, 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 blah. Go to my Heat 5 review to see my complaints over that. But I said at the end of the video, I will be satisfied with Pulsar in the grand final if it shows that it's effective in the grand final. What happens? Within 5 seconds, it's dead. I mean, it just blows my mind. We've got 2 robots in this first battle. TR2 was brilliant in the first battle. It showed that it deserved to be there. But the other 2, Pulsar and Thor, just should not be there. That's just wasted space. Thor shouldn't have been granted the wild card. Maybe they should have done a 5-way battle between the Heat finalists. Maybe that would have settled it. I'd be happy then if Thor won that. I think it would have been the first one to go from that. But Pulsar, it's just... why... It got so lucky, and I think at some point someone should have just said, in the heat, it's had its luck. If it's just looked its way through every round, it's got to stand no chance in the grand final, and look what happens, dead within 5 seconds, didn't do anything. So, plus the fact that Pulsar getting, or just dying, meant that Thor got through to the next round, which just made things worse. You've got a dead weight robot that's completely useless now in the head-to-heads. And that went on to ruin things, as I'll go on to explain. Next round, I thought it had gone downhill enough from there, but then the next round come in. 3-way melee between Shockwave, Carbide, and... what's the other one? Apollo. Over in about 10 seconds. Great, brilliant. Yeah, the wall broke, so we're going to stop the fight and just chuck one of the robots out. What a bloody anticlimax. I mean, some people seem to enjoy that. Like, yeah, they destroyed the wall, but it's like, I'd rather see them destroying each other in the ring rather than just calling it and saying, okay, Shockwave, off you go. I mean, talk about another wasted space. I mean, it lasted 10 seconds. If the fight carried on, or if they'd given it a bit of time to fix it, it might have shown itself to be worthy. But that's 3 robots out of 6 that within the first 10 minutes of the show have just shown everyone that shouldn't be there. Just, yeah. And then we come to the head-to-heads. Now, there were a couple of good battles. Apollo versus TR2 was a good battle. Apollo showed that it was the better of the 2 flippers, but as I've said previously, it's more dull. I'm much more a fan of TR2 than Apollo. Another good battle was TR2 versus Carbide, mostly because I liked the fact that TR2 won. And then Thor, it got destroyed by Carbide, obviously. It didn't get a single hit in. I don't think it got hit in on any of the games. It just wasn't there. It was just handing out points. And the first 2 games, it was alright. It was slightly competitive. It was good seeing it get destroyed by Carbide. That was a good battle. TR2 won it, fair and square. Thor was still in action. But then by the time it was against Apollo, it wasn't working. And this was the last battle of the head-to-heads, where it was like, Apollo's got to win this in order to get through. Could Thor beat it? What an anticlimax. TR2's waiting there with Dara O'Brien and Thingbot saying, can Thor win this and give us entry to grand final? They might have just not bothered with the battle and just given the 3 points to Apollo. I mean, what an anticlimax, and what a farce that is, that Apollo just gets gifted the place in the grand final, because by that point Thor is basically non-existent. I mean, Thor's grand final has just ruined it for me. Absolutely ruined it. It shouldn't have been given wildcard. Pulsar Bully died and let it through into the head-to-heads, where it just proceeded to just hand out points and eventually gifted Apollo the grand final. It was fighting a box, Apollo. It was just fighting a box that stood in the centre of the ring, and it just gifted 3 points and just ruined all the excitement. Really ruined all the excitement there. And then the actual grand final itself, Carbide stopped working. The weapon did. And I don't see why everyone's hyping about it. I thought it was dreadful. It was a dreadful grand final. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. At the end of it, I wanted Carbide to beat Apollo, and then Carbide just stopped working. So, congratulations to Apollo for winning it. I mean, it's a good robot, don't get me wrong. I've got nothing against the robot or the team. But the thing looks dull. It is dull. It's a plain old flipper. It's a very plain robot. And how many times is it broken down through the series? I mean, even in one of the battles, which was another disappointing battle, Carbide against Apollo the first time, where it just died within 5 seconds. The link came out again. And it just seems strange to me that TR2 has lost 1 battle throughout this series. And Apollo has died probably 10 times throughout. I might be exaggerating there, obviously, but it's died countless times. And yet Apollo has won the title. Now, I didn't see the flaw of the head-to-heads before now, but now I really do see, actually, there's a big flaw there. That come the last battle, some of these robots are pretty much dead, and they just hand out 3 points to another opponent that, if they weren't dead, it would be more of a contest, it'd be more exciting, but no, everything about this grand final was a farce. Everything about it. Shockwave should have been there, because it did get through, but they just took it out, basically. Just 10 seconds in, they said, it's destroyed now, go. Pulsar and Thor shouldn't have been there. And it was a real letdown. I've loved the series up till now, but that was a bad grand final. And I've never said before that a robot was undeserving of the title. Even robots that I don't particularly like. Chaos 2, Razor. I thought when they won their titles, they deserved it. But I thought Apollo, I saw it and I thought, I don't think that's a grand title winner. And when it won, I thought, I've watched all its battles, and I don't think that it was a winner of a Robot Wars series. Sorry if I'm saying Banter Wars, I'm in the middle of editing stuff for that as well. But I don't know. There's something wrong. Whether it's the format, whether it's all been rushed, because the problem with having 5 heats and 6 spaces in the grand final, obviously I hope they never do wildcard again, because that was the worst part of it. For anyone who says, oh no, 4 did well, no, go through its battles and see where it was effective. See where its weapon actually did effective damage. You know, the weapon alone killed a robot. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I should watch the Heat again, but I just thought it wasn't really deserving. It just wasn't as good as the other Heat finalists. Anyway, my camera's about to run out of video, so this is my rant over. If you want to argue with me, just post in the comments. I'm sure we can have a discussion. This has been A Heap of Games, about to run out of camera. Ta-ra, toodle-pip doodaloo, and cheerio. Despite this grand final, I'm looking forward to another series. See you later.